All right. Right. So everyone, thank you for joining. We're gonna have today our webinar for the Azure DevOps and the Monday integration. My name is Nir. Take us to the next slide. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about the integration. We're gonna talk about how the integration works. About the challenges that our customers are facing. We're going to show you the integration in a demo on how the bidirectional can work. We're going to have a customer joining us and talk about the success story and how they implemented Monday and the integration. And then we're going to move to a short QA. But just for now, for your hosts, so my name is Nir. And I lead Monday.com Global Center of Excellence in KPMG. It actually means that here in KPMG, we are doing many things with Monday, from implementation to development and products. And today with us for this webinar, we have Tamara. Tamara is our product manager. Tamara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tamara Adler. I'm the product manager here at KPMG in the Monday.com solutions team. And I'm excited to be here with you all today.
All right. So let's move to the next slide. So just as a matter of introduction, KPMG, if you don't know, is part of the Big Four. Usually we are being known for as part of our audit and tax practices, but we also have a technology practice. I'm actually leading, in our case, the Monday practice, and we have many of them. You can see the size, the countries, where we are, etc. Like I said before, our Center of Excellence is doing many things around Monday, from implementation to development, but also products. And this is what we're here. We're going to talk today about the Azure DevOps integration, but this is just, we wanted to give you some high-level overview of our portfolio. You can see on the right side some of our marketplace integrations, like the NetSuite integration, Dynamics, ServiceNow, and obviously the Azure that we're going to discuss. We have some others, more applications that are private apps, meaning we are using them as part of our engagement with customers, with our methodology and our knowledge. There are some others solutions, public apps that we developed and we launched and offered to our customers. And also on the left side, you can see another area of our products, which is more KPMG, I would say, a traditional methodology, where we took areas where the customers, for example, in this case, GRC, different modules of the GRC, where we took the methodology of KPMG, embedded it within a solution, a product on top of Monday, and we let our customers manage their SOX, period end, ESG, business continuity, and others, everything on top of Monday. Okay, this is just in a nutshell about us and what we do. Go ahead, Tamara.
Thanks, Nir. So in today's world, there are many different planning and execution systems. For example, in some organizations, product teams and leadership are planning in Monday.com, while engineer teams are developing on Azure DevOps. And those two platforms don't naturally communicate with each other, which obviously creates a lot of gaps. So our focus is on connecting your strategy with your execution. So keeping your strategy and your execution synchronized in real time, so your business teams and your development teams stay aligned. So recently we conducted client interviews, and this is what we heard from them, being their main challenges. First, working in silos. Product planning happens in Monday.com. Development work happens in Azure DevOps. Neither team has full visibility into what's happening on the other side. Another issue we hear is manual update Every time a work item changes in one system, someone needs to manually go into the other system and copy each field one at a time. It's time consuming, it's error prone, and frankly, it's just inefficient. Another issue is no single source of truth. When it's time to report on progress, you're gathering data from different systems and you're trying to align them manually. And fourth, as you all probably well know, status meetings that consume way too much time. Hours every week you spend just trying to align everyone on what's been completed, what's blocked, what's coming next. These issues slow down the delivery and they make forecasting more difficult, and they create unnecessary friction between your teams. So I'm assuming that if you're here today, you resonate with some of these challenges. So let's get to the good part, the solution. So here's the good news for everyone. You don't need to choose between Monday.com and Azure DevOps. You can have both. Our Azure DevOps integration provides bidirectional synchronization between the two systems. So changes flow automatically in both directions in real time. So how does this help you? This gives you real-time visibility into both platforms. Your product team can see the development progress without interrupting your engineers, and your engineers can get their work items from Monday, from Azure DevOps, wherever they get it naturally. So this allows for a full source of truth in Monday. You get Monday's amazing dashboards, the displays, progress, health metrics, and blockers, everything you need for decision-making in Monday. And most importantly, what you get from this is alignment between business and development. Your plans in Monday.com remain up to date automatically. Now let's see this integration in action. So in this integration, we're going to demonstrate finding and installing the app, understanding recipes and configuration, a live bidirectional synchronization, and KPMG's ready-to-use templates.
Hi, let me start by showing you exactly where to find the Azure DevOps integration app and all the resources available to support your implementation. From your Monday.com workspace, click on Marketplace, this little puzzle piece over here. And in the search bar, type Azure DevOps. And you'll see our listing here. Click on our listing and then click on Install. I already have the app installed, as you can see. On the listing itself, you can find some helpful resources like video tutorials and instruction manuals. Now that you've installed the app, you'll have immediate access to the full power of this integration. So let me show you how the app actually works. I'm going to open the Azure DevOps integration app from my user storyboard. I'm going to click on Integrate, More Integrations, and I'm going to search for Azure. And here's the app. I'm going to click on it. When you first launch the app, you'll see recipes in a dashboard as displayed here. Recipes are the automation rules. Each recipe has two essential components: a trigger, which initiates the automation, and an action, which defines what happens in response. What makes the integration really powerful is its flexibility. You can fully customize the integration to your needs. You build exactly what works for your team's unique process. Notice that the automation is fully bidirectional. Some recipes sync data from Monday to Azure DevOps, like this recipe right here. This is ideal when your team plans or creates work in Monday and needs it reflected in Azure DevOps. And other recipes sync from Azure DevOps to Monday, like this recipe right here. This is perfect when your development team works in Azure DevOps and stakeholders need visibility in Monday. Let me walk you through a structure of a recipe. I'll open this one here. So this recipe says, when an action is made on Azure DevOps, sync a work item that originates from our project in Azure DevOps according to these map fields. So the action is essentially what will trigger this automation. So I could choose if I create something to trigger the automation, if I update something to trigger the automation. I'm going to choose created and updated, which essentially means whenever someone creates or updates a work item in Azure DevOps, this recipe activates automatically. So now I'm going to specify which work item to sync, and this will be our action. So I'm going to sync a user story because I'm on my user story board. But you can choose whichever work item you want, even a custom work item that you have in Azure DevOps. Now I'm going to choose my organization and my project. And now this is where the real power lies, the field mapping section. This is where you define precisely which information from Azure DevOps populates which columns in Monday. So let's open it up. On the left side, you see your monday.com columns from your board, and on the right side, you'll see dropdowns containing Azure DevOps fields. When you click on any of these dropdowns, you'll see a complete list of all the available Azure DevOps fields for that specific work item type. Simply select the field you want to map, and the integration handles the sync automatically. So for example, I'm going to map name to title and start date to start date, and so on and so forth. Then I'll click on done and on create automation. I already have this automation here. So as soon as you click on done, you go into manage, you'll see your recipe already here. So here's my recipe already. You can fully customize the integration to your needs, map as many or as few fields as makes sense for your specific workflow. The system maintains continuous synchronization. So when something changes in Azure DevOps, it updates in Monday automatically, and the same applies in reverse. So let's look at the reverse. I'll open a recipe that I already have ready here, which is when status changes to new, this is our trigger, and only if the work item type is a user story, create a user story on ADO in our project according to these map fields. So essentially what this will do is when someone on your team changes an item status to new in Monday, the integration instantly creates a corresponding epic in Azure DevOps with all the relevant information pre-populated. Your development team can begin work immediately without any manual data entry or context switching. I'll start in Monday. On my user story board, I'm going to create a new item. Let's call it new user story. I'm going to put myself as the owner and add a description. And I'm going to set the priority to 1. Now, I'm going to set the work item type to user story because that's part of my trigger. And now watch what happens when I change the status to new. You see that an automation is triggered, and that means that the recipe was triggered, and behind the scenes, the integration is now communicating with Azure DevOps and creating this user story in our project. And here you see it. It's been created as a user story in Azure DevOps. You have the link here to the work item in Azure, and you have the Azure ID. Let's open the link. The integration happens in real time, typically within 30 seconds. As you saw, it happens a lot faster than that. And here it is. You can see all the details transferred exactly as we map them. Our development team can now start working on the task directly attached to this work item. And you could see that all the fields have been populated. Me as the owner, the priority, the description, it all moved seamlessly. Now let's demonstrate the reverse flow. I'm going to change the state to active. I'm going to click on save. And now let's see it update in Monday. We're waiting for this to change to active. It should only take a few seconds, really. And here it is, changed to active. So any changes you make on either system will be reflected in the other system in real time. And this is the power of true bidirectional synchronization. Your product team, stakeholders, and executives working in Monday gain instant visibility into what's happening in Azure DevOps. Meanwhile, your development team never has to leave Azure DevOps, which is their preferred environment. You can fully customize the integration to your needs, ensuring both teams have the information they need in the format that works best for them. Now let's look at another recipe example. Let's open my automations and look at this recipe, get top parent. This recipe allows you to get the source parent of the item. So my trigger is when priority changes, and then my action is from my project, get top parent epic and insert title into top parent name. So what this recipe essentially does is goes into my item, gets the source parent, and populates the field top parent name. So let's see it in action. I'm going to change the priority of this item to 2. And now let's see the field top parent name get populated. And there it is. Now let's see that it is the right top parent. We'll go into the work item and find the source parent. So this one has a parent, and let's see, this one also has a parent. And this is the source parent customer authentication and security platform, which correlates exactly to the one that was populated in the top parent column. Now you might be thinking, this looks powerful, but setting up all these boards and recipes from scratch sounds very time consuming. That's precisely why we created the KPMG Azure DevOps templates. You'll find this in the monday.com template center. Simply open the template center, search for Azure DevOps, and install the templates. This template is designed to take you from 0 to fully operational in minutes, rather than hours or days. So now that we've installed it, we'll receive a complete production-ready solution with 4 pre-configured boards. What makes this truly powerful is that these boards don't just look professional, they come with ready-made recipes and field mappings already configured. So you could see that this comes with a manual, with Epic board, a bug queue board, and feature request board. Now, we'll click on Automate. We'll manage under the Manage tab. You can see that the recipes are all here already. And they are already ready with mapped fields. And the only thing that's left for you to do is to choose your organization and your project. And here, all the fields are already mapped, as you can see. So all the work is done for you. All you have to do is just start working. Naturally, you can fully customize the integration to your needs. Every board, column, recipe, and mapping is fully editable. Consider this template a best practice foundation that you can tailor to match your specific workflows.
we're going to show you one more scenario for the other
DevOps,
direction.
and we'll watch it automatically. Now let me show you how I create a user story in Azure DevOps, and we'll watch it automatically be created in Monday.com. So let's navigate to Azure DevOps and create a new work item. We'll do a user story because I want it in my user story board. And we'll call it webinar. I'll add a description. I'll assign myself, and I'll even add a parent. Now I'll click on save, and we'll go back to Monday and watch as the item is automatically created in this board here. Now, while the automation is running, I want to take a second to explain what's actually happening behind the scenes. When you create and activate a recipe in Monday that's in the direction from Azure DevOps to Monday.com, something important happens automatically. The integration creates what's called a service hook in your Azure DevOps project. So let's go into our Azure DevOps project and our project settings. And here we have service hooks. And these are the service hooks here. These service hooks act as listeners. They monitor for specific changes, like when work items are created or updated. The moment someone saves a change in Azure DevOps, the service hook captures that and notifies our integration, which then updates Monday in real time. And that's why the sync is so fast. It's event-driven and not pulling on a schedule. So it's always listening and seeing when something's changed and updating your board. So that way your board is always in sync with what's going on in Azure DevOps. And here we see the user story was created, webinar. We have the link to the work item in Azure DevOps. We have the link to the parent in Azure DevOps. And the description is here, priority, everything has moved over seamlessly.
All right. This was our demo for today. And Tamara, can you share from your side So now, first of all, feel free to write any questions that you might have in our chat, and we will answer it in a short while. Now we want to move to Andy and talk about a little bit how Andy is using the integration and how it helps his organization. Just a second, I'm going to move Andy. Sorry, on my side. Andy, can you hear us?
I can, yeah. Hi, Nia.
Hi, Nia. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Tamara. You okay?
Hi.
Good.
Andy, thank you for joining us. Tamara, do you want to take it?
Hi, Andy. Thank you for being here with us today.
No problem.
Let me start with some context so that way everyone knows kind of where everything started for you. Can you tell us about your work process before you started using the integration? Maybe walk me through your use case and what type of data you work with and who your teams are and on what platform everyone works on.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's pretty similar to the use cases that you were outlining in the challenge at the very start there. So our engineering team use Azure DevOps, use that for everyday workflows. We've got stories, which are then linked to epics and then initiatives. Our product team use Monday. They like the feel of Monday, and they hold one combined roadmap at the initiative level, and they share that within the business. So our challenge was that the DevOps roadmap tools are not particularly that easy to work with or engaging. You've got boards all over the place. So there are multiple boards which go into their own different roadmaps, and within Monday you've got a much nicer user experience, especially for non-engineering team stakeholders, which was what we preferred to share internally. So prior to the integration, we were maintaining 2 copies of the same initiative roadmap. We were manually updating the Monday side every week to just ensure that was showing as up to date a view as possible of the position on DevOps.
Thank you. So was that the turning point that made you decide to implement an integration between Azure DevOps and Monday?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our head of product managed to see this on the Monday site and just asked us to investigate, see if it's something that we would be able to look into. We checked out the features and looked at everything that it would offer, and it was something that we thought could really help us. So we got the internal approvals sorted and got everything set up.
Great. And now that you've been using it for a while, can you tell us how you benefited from the integration? Is there something specific that really stands out to you or your team?
Sure. I mean, there's 3 main areas for us. The main benefit that we get is just removing that duplication. So it was a bit of a pain in terms of the amount of time that it takes to manually update that. Also, you've got the issue that the snapshot is potentially out of date when someone is looking at it if they're sort of midweek between your updates. So things may have moved on the DevOps side and not been reflected on the roadmap in the Monday side. So having the automation allows us to just share the roadmap location with anyone, safely knowing that whenever they go into that, it's showing the up-to-date position at any point in time, which is great. Another benefit to us is just having the ability to use the really nice visuals in Monday. So with the data that we can pull through from DevOps into Monday, we can do all of that automatically, and then we can also just tailor the information that we want to share with various stakeholders using the different views that Monday gives you, and we can just focus that in on a certain area as well, or a certain criteria, depending on what we want to share with the stakeholders internally. And the final benefit really is that it can all be done without needing any engineering effort, which is a real bonus for us. So it's worked really well.
Andy, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
No problem. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. So we're actually very close to the end of the webinar. We have some questions in the chat, and we're going to start taking some questions. So let's see. First one, can the integration sync only in one direction? You want to take it, Tamara?
The integration can sync either in one direction if you want only from Azure to Monday, or if you want only from Monday to Azure, or it could sync bi-directionally, whatever works best for your workflow.
So basically the customer decides which recipes to use, and based on that,
Yes.
they decide on the directions.
Yes.
Right. Do you support Monday Dev and work management?
Yes, we support any Monday work app, Monday Dev, or the work management.
So basically, it's seamless for the integration, which Monday, basically Monday product we're using, right?
Right.
All right. Do you support custom fields?
Yes, we do support custom fields. We support whatever you have, any use case you have on your Azure DevOps. Any sort of data that you have there can be transferred seamlessly with our integration to monday.com.
And is there any technical involvement that is required in order to support custom fields, or is it native out of box?
It shows up automatically. It'll show up automatically in the dropdown, and you'll be able to choose it.
All right. See what we have next. Is the integration applied across all workspaces and tables in Monday? For example, is it possible to limit the integration to a specific table? So I'll take it. The integration works according to the Monday principles, meaning integration should be configured on a specific board. And like the different permissions of Monday, you can decide whether the integration can work on all of your workspace or on specific workspaces, on a specific board, or multiple boards. It's up to you to make the configuration. If you don't have the integration on a board, obviously it will not work. I hope that it answered this question. How is the connection being established between the platforms? All right, so I'll take it. So it's actually something that we have not showed as part of this demo, but the first time that you use the integration, and when you start configure it, you have an authentication process against Microsoft. This is Microsoft native authentication process where you will put your email, your organizational email, and you will have to agree for the integration to use the work items. It only applies for work items. The integration don't have permissions to other areas, but once you've done that, you will be able to start working with integration. Just one note is that there are some permissions that needs to be granted. Everything is written in our manuals. Okay. Another question here is, how are the ID and the link columns created? Do I need to create them myself?
So I'll answer this one. You don't need to create them yourself. As soon as the automation is triggered, it will create those columns for you automatically.
All right, so it's actually being triggered for the first time and creates them only one. Okay. Can we do this for existing work items at both ends? All right, so I will explain. First of all, yes, you can migrate your existing work items from ADO to Monday. And I'm saying from ADO to Monday because ADO is the source of truth. If you have work items on the ADO side and you don't have them on the Monday, as long as you're using our premium, we have a premium plan. We have a standard plan and premium plan. The premium plan allows you to migrate this data. And the way that it works is that once you are doing an update on the ADO side, if this work item doesn't exist on Monday, the integration will create it for you. And if you want to do it in a bulk, you can select multiple items, and let's say 100 items, make an update to all of them, and then the integration will create it for you. This is the mechanism for moving it from ADO to Monday. If you do it you want to do it from the other direction, you need to just create the recipe of creating from Monday to ADO, trigger it, and then the integration will do it for me. Can you integrate one Monday project to multiple ADO boards? I will take it. So yes, you can integrate a one Monday project to multiple ADO boards. We have to understand better what will be the use case and how it's being used. But yes, you can select on your recipes additional projects or additional boards, and based on that, be able to move the data. Keep in mind, just one principle that we have is that when you are using our integration, since ADO is the source of truth, on the Monday side, work item can be created only once. You cannot create more than once the same work item. We want to make sure that we are not losing sync between the systems, and this is a principle. So as long as you don't try to create them more than once, it will work for you. How can we add main items and sub items at monday.com in these automations? So we don't support sub items. The way that the integration works is that we use main items. The hierarchy, obviously, is a very important thing in ADO. You have, let's say, an epic and a feature, and then a user story and a task. The Monday main items and sub items are only 2 levels. You can either use the Monday dev in order to see it in a hierarchy. They have an hierarchy feature this is where you can sit, but still you will integrate it into a main item and then do it. The other way to do it is to use a top parent recipe. The top parent recipe will allow you to bring everything into Monday. For example, you can bring for all of your items the epic name, and then you can group by epic name. This is how we actually use the top recipe. It's a very powerful recipe that allows you to bring information for a specific work item, not from only from the specific work item, but also from its parent, its grandparent, etc., etc. This is the idea of the top recipe. The group by is also a very powerful feature, as it will allow you to group them in a batch, and then where you can see the epic, its features, its user stories, etc.
I'll add that in Monday Dev, you have the hierarchy view where you'll be able to view the hierarchy of all your items if you have linked them to one another.
All right. I've answered the top parent recipe. I will move to the next question. Is this free or we have to upgrade at any side? So there are no need to upgrade either Monday or ADO. You can use them as is. There is a cost for the integration. Tamara can put now a link to the integration from the marketplace in the chat. So you can go there and you can see in the chat the cost of each plan. It depends on your plan. All of our plans are unlimited, meaning we don't cost it by the number of items or epics or whatever it is, or how many updates you do. It's unlimited. It's per account, so it's not per users. You can use it with how many users that you want. But it really depends on your plan. There is a standard plan, and there is also the premium plan, like I've mentioned before. We actually even support on-premise. So if you have TFS on-premise, we can also support it, and we have a plan for it. Yeah, we are actually the contact details for the consultancy around the integration, Tamara and myself. And after this webinar, Tamara will send the recording, and we will also be sending our details, and you can contact us and we will help you with any implementation that you need. We have a support group that support this integration if you have any questions or issues as part of our regular life cycle. We issue on a regular basis new versions with upgrades, etc. Other field or minor changes also updated every time? Not sure I'm following this specific question. Basically, the integration is being updated automatically. So when we release an update, there is no anything that you need, but I'm not sure that I've answered exactly your question. Feel free to reach out to us later, and we can clarify if you still have any questions. Can you create a work item more than once? We answered that. No, we can do it. You can create only once every work item. We will share the recording after this session. This seems to meet our needs. How do I satisfy that this integration meets our corporate security parameters? All right, so anything regarding integration, the integration from a security point of view, so we can assist. We can share with you the high-level document around how the integration works from a security point of view. We can share the results of our PT and any other questions that you might have. Sometimes we actually go on the calls with the security teams in order to answer specific questions. Again, feel free to get in touch with us, and we will help you and answer any questions also regarding security. This is actually the last question, and I think we are on time. Thank you everyone for joining us, and we will send, like we said, the recording. We do have now a 50% off to those of you that are not our customers, those that will purchase following this webinar, this integration. Feel free to take this QR, take a shoot of this QR, put your data into the form, and everyone that will put their information into the form, we will provide them in their account with 50% off of this integration by the end of this month for everyone that will purchase on January. Again, thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Tamara, for your time.
Thank you, Nir.
Thank you, Andy, for joining us. And have a great day.